Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. We are on our way to the tombs of Korvaak, because our buddies at Cadence Chosen have kindly requested that we are gonna look for the Eye of Korvaak. And of course, well, there's lots of stuff to kill on the way. That's always a very, very compelling argument to do these kinds of things. To the best of my knowledge, there is no devotion shrine here, at least not on Elite. I don't remember going in here on normal either, or on veteran. This is a bit an area that you don't really go here all that often unless you actually have the quests to do. Or, of course, if you simply just want to kill a bunch of cultists. Because, well, there's nothing wrong with killing a bunch of cultists. Especially if you are an occultist, I can imagine this is a very nice place to farm. To get yourself some decent weapons. Because, of course, if there's a lot of cultists, and especially if those cultists will have a bit of a preference for using fatality damage, things like that. Then as an occultist, you share a bit of a preference for damage types and things like that with these cultists. Then of course this is basically just like walking around in a shopping mall, where all the prices are paid in blood. Blood of your enemies, not of your own, of course. Someone is trying to inflict a lot of lightning damage here. Okay, I think we're slowly going through here. Yeah, they of course had to summon more. We killed them just before they actually could. So from the other side there is gonna be a weathered chest there. Yes, there's the undead as well. Interesting mix between undead and cultists. Why are you running there? Oh well, they're undead. It's difficult to say what their motivation is for most things, since most of the time the brain's not really functioning all that well. Wait, they're actually fighting each other. Ah, wait, there's a void fiend in there. I thought they were all ghouls. So they wonder, like, why are they attacking their buddies? But they were not buddies. They never have heard of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. The enemy of my enemy still remains my enemy. In that regard, they are playing by the same rules as the player then.
Can't do that yet. I can't do that yet.
Aw, Blitz was still charging. We go through here. It is one of the nice things. Now it's an area you don't really get to all that often. So it's gonna be full of, well, surprises or just stirring some ancient memories of like, yeah, I think I remember going here before sometime.
That skill's not ready.
Because with my earlier characters, I did more full clears that were not necessarily tied in with quests, just to see what the areas were like. I have since started focusing a little bit more on efficient playthroughs. I still do a lot more things than I technically should, I suspect. That's of course because there's just a lot of nice things in the game. Ooh, shield wall is now rank 14. I do like how the devotion trigger skills, how they provide you with a path of progression outside of your skill points. It's okay, sure, it's a background form of progression because you're not actively doing anything with them except for just killing things, getting experience, and then your skills level up. But it is fun to just get a little tick up on those skills every once in a while to just slowly make them more powerful. Yeah, of course. Stuff pops out when you walk away. Yeah. A couple of blood-drinking ghouls over there. Necrolite. Oh, he went down rather quickly. What's that? Blood plague. That doesn't sound very healthy. I don't think I want a blood plague. You can keep it. Can I return it back to the sender? Ooh, and now we get ghosties. Nice. Ah, yes, because we need a lot of ectoplasm to make haunted steel. I remember now. For the legendary helmet, we need a haunted steel, and a haunted steel requires 1 full ectoplasm per part, and you need 4 parts. It's also yet another reason when you're in Homestead, always swing by Isaiah, the vendor on the left side of town. He sells crafting materials, and he sells higher rarity crafting materials than most other vendors do. Things like blessed whetstones and things like that, you actually find them there. Now, if there's some haunted steel in there, then of course that's gonna be a really big bargain actually for obtaining those things. Also, we find ourselves facing Harvul, the Earthshaker, who is trying to throw stuff onto our face, but by virtue of standing underneath this archer, that means that arch is actually gonna prevent most of the things from falling onto our face. Okay, let's actually stand truly underneath it, then that should be okay.
Not ready.
But either way, he's not doing enough damage to really make it matter. Also, his aim is really off. Oh, he's still 6 levels above us. That does make him have a higher health pool, do more damage, all those things. Well, slow and steady does win ourselves this fight. Ruby elemental balance. That's not a blueprint. Oh, the ruby of elemental balance. That sounds like it's a ring. Sounded like a neck piece. So there's a ruby and there's a sapphire of elemental balance. So that's nice that there's 2 parts. It's a 2-part ring set. This one grants a bunch of fire and cold damage, offensive ability, casting, speed, elemental resistance, +2 to explosive strike. That is Demolitionist, and +2 to Olex Raz Flash Freeze. That is Arcanist. The set grants extra fire and cold damage as well as elemental force on attack. Cool. So there's a fire and ice theme for this. Cool. Not relevant for us, but well, never know what I'll end up playing in a future. So we'll see. So there are secret areas behind here, otherwise there would not be all these things in the back. But also, this is a bit of a secret area with a hidden spoils. If only you see they are there. Metal strongbox. This no, acting a little bit like a tomb robber here. Maybe not the most honorable of things to do, but it is lucrative. It might be that the Eye of Kaiman is actually hidden in the back, which is of course why we need to go there. That clears out most of the content here. Now let's look for the secret exit. Presumably there's gonna be a torch or something. Yeah, like that. Excellent. Okay, they have us surrounded. That's always a good time to put blade barrier up. And there we are. Ghouls are definitely a nice change of pace from the zombies. Though they're a bit faster, they're more aggressive. As a result, of course, they have a habit of killing themselves a bit earlier as well. But therefore, they make perfect enemies for this build to face. Corpse lick. Okay, this guy actually can get knocked back. So, note to self, don't use blitz on him. And we just keep raking in the loot. So the initial confrontation here, they do quite a decent amount of burst damage. No, that little group there, I think they got us down to about 8 or 9,000 life. So that's not 3,000 to 4,000 damage that they dealt. Of course, I've got a really heavy energy or a life regen going on as well. So that of course means we regenerate a bit more, so maybe the entire total burst might have been closer to 4,000 or 5,000 points of damage. That is something that you will have to be able to tank. Sharanadu, Harbinger of the Void, is guarding the eye. Oh well, Guardians. Oh, the more enemies we have trying to hit us, the more often our counter-strike is gonna trigger, therefore doing more damage to whatever we are standing next to. So, in general, I'm actually pretty in favor of just getting surrounded by a bunch of trash mobs and just letting them take a couple swings at me. Especially in a fight like this, Sharanadu is really just not putting in any effort trying to kill me. I think he does like 1,000 damage every second or two. As I say, he's not really trying. But we got the Eye of Korvaak from him, and that is enough. Exalted Sabatons. Empowered Swamp Dweller's Leggings. We're raking in a decent amount of items here. Let's actually have a quick scan through some of the green items we've been finding so far. Is there actually anything useful for our build? That's of course the key question. So, lots of caster armors, lots of guns, lots of spellbooks and scepters. These Swamp Dweller's Leggings, they have a very decent amount of resistances. Poison, this will effectively guarantee that we'll be maxed out on poison resistance in Ultimate. Similarly, this is going to boost our bleeding to be overcapped and therefore good on Ultimate. Doesn't have the vitality resistance that we currently have, but no, the focus on regen is decent. This is actually, well, this is a contender. Let's keep it at that. We would lose a bunch of health, make it up with regen and a bunch of resists. So overall, we will get sturdy, but in a different way. Anyway, we have completed this, so let's go back to Soros Bastion, have a chat with Father Kaiman and see what his next quest is gonna be. Because I think we should have another quest, or this maybe was the honored one. I always forget exactly which tier of quest we are doing. Have you recovered the relic? Yes, here it is. Hey, and we also hit level 68. 2000 reputation, that is pretty sweet. 2 rare components. I think we can now go into his sanctuary, can't we? Yes. So let's have a look. What is Father Kaiman keeping in his private chambers? It is, of course, the messenger. But let's read his journal first. This is gonna be a little bit of a lore thing, because we don't often get here. And I think with on veteran we didn't have the required reputation to get to this stage of the quest chain. So let's read. The messenger is harsh to deal with. With each exchange I feel drained, as though my life were being drawn into a deep well. Everything appears darker and further away, as if seen through a long tunnel. A lesser man, without the years of Inquisitor mental training, would be consumed. Even as I write this, I can sense its energies rippling through the room. I can feel it like worms twitching below my skin. It burrows and pulls, urging me to get closer. I dread to think of what would become of any of my chosen, should they get too close to this entity. What would remain, I cannot say, but I suspect the messenger would shock the mind and claim the body for its own. I fear there are none who would understand or survive this secret. I alone must shoulder this burden, and so I will steel myself and endure. I have taken on a great risk, but the fate of the world hinges on the success of the chosen and the pact that I have made. Okay, page 2. There are questions that have been scratching at the back of my mind. I've tried to push them aside, but with each conversation I have with the messenger, they become harder to ignore. I must ask, when the last demon is driven from this world, what will become of us then? In my heart, I fear I already know the answer, but dare not speak it out loud. I have no doubt that I have made the right choice. The power I have revived will be humanity's salvation from the blood fiends of the chthonic void. However, there must always be evil. And when there's no evil left to conquer, who, or more frighteningly, what, will fill that emptiness? Will we become as reviled as those we oppose? The primordial powers have no care or sympathy for humanity. Without shackles, this power I have borrowed could be just as disastrous, or perhaps even worse than Cadence. I now wish I had not burned the town where I woke this ancient being. If it ever needs to be stopped, I may have destroyed the last remaining knowledge to unmake it. So Father Kaiman has made a little bit of a pact with the devil, has he? Let's have a chat with the messenger himself. You are not Kaiman, puny thing. Why has he brought you before me? Has he lost his senses? Has he fallen ill? No, he's a fool, and fools are punished. So he's been heralded as Empyrean, one of the gods of the gods of light, I think, one of the warrior gods. But this doesn't really look like Empyrean. So let's go with our critical stance here. You are not the Lightbringer. Empyrean is gone. Gone! There's only Korvaak. Kneel before his messenger. What's your deal with Kaiman? Kaiman found Korvaak's tomb. He called through the veil and the god answered. Kaiman begged for a way to save his people. Korvaak merely asked for a soul. Now Kaiman has the power he needs and Korvaak gets his worshippers. So this reminds me a lot of the statues that we have, of course, of the hidden gods of Bismiel, Solal, and Dreek. Similarly gloomy looking. So what is Korvaak? Korvaak, who was when the world was not. Korvaak is eternal, infinite, primordial. So why does Korvaak need worshippers? The dead god grows in strength. It threatens the power of Korvaak, and so Korvaak must become the greater. So the dead god, it must probably be Cadence. You know it only as Cadence, whose blood courses through your veins, as it does in every living being. But the dead god yearns to return from the void. It calls to its blood, gathers it. Someday, Cadence will be reborn. So he needs my blood? All blood, all life. Cadence worshippers gather it, give the dead god the strength to tear through the barrier between worlds. But as Cadence grows bolder, so too does Korvaak rally his strength. Cairn shall be the battleground upon which the gods settle their conflict. That doesn't sound like a good idea. So, I think we unlock further dialogue options now with Kaiman and possibly another quest. Let's have a look. So, what have you done? What I had to do in order to save our species. The primordial gods are fickle, but they despise Cadence and his manifestations. Though my fate may be sealed, at least I will use this power to redeem humanity. Do not speak of this to anyone. My chosen cannot learn that their only light is tainted with secrets. Humanity must have hope. That's the interesting thing, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Question is, of course, what kind of hell is Korvaak gonna inflict upon us? Because we're fighting against the blood god, Cadence, and now these Kaiman's chosen, they of course want to get the dead god back without even knowing it. So, what about Empyrean? I'm afraid I honestly do not know. Perhaps the Lightbringer is just a myth, or truly has abandoned us, as the texts imply. But what could force a god to flee a world of his own making? So, I'll keep a secret as long as it helps humanity. Thank you. I knew that my trust in you was not misplaced. Thank you for your honesty. After all, he did let me in on the secret, right? But yeah, that means that this was the honored part of the quest, and only once we hit revert will we get access to the final quest. Actually, there's no final quest. That's interesting. So all we get is just more stuff to buy. Okay, cool. I'm afraid that this episode is once again running a bit long. So we will not be going into the next tomb. That's gonna be for next episode. So as always, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time when we go into the Black Sepulchre and get ourselves another devotion point. Bye bye.